Yo, Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all the praises, glory, and the honor unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWAH. I also want to give double honors to all the elders and the Akim that's out there preaching, teaching His word, the truth, and the sincerity, doing everything to make the calling election sure. Shalom to y'all and y'all families. I also want to say shalom to all the Akim and the Akwatham out there that's receiving, learning, believing, and keeping the faith. Shalom to y'all and y'all families as well. It's the brother Malak. I'm Awan. Back in the spirit once again, here to feed the lambs and the sheep of Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. And Lord, with this lesson edifying for the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel only. And I found this lesson is basically gonna be going into these C-19, these camps that are coming. What we know as what we know or call FEMA camps that are coming and how they're ramping up and whatnot. And we see prophecy being fulfilled in this, man. So let's just get into it. I found this article on the site called Natural News, a good site. Of course, with any of these alternative news media platforms, you got to filter the fluff through the real and things of that nature, because they're not scriptural based, truth based platforms, but they do give good information about what's going on in the world from a non-biased, realer perspective than what you'll get from your mainstream media news outlets. Your CNNs, your MSNBCs, your Fox News, things of that nature. It's pretty solid in that reason, for that purpose right there. So let's continue to go into it. The title says CDC announces C-19 internment camps on a national level with indefinite detention until the pandemic ends. And this is a really interesting title right here because, like I just said, you got to filter through the fluff, through the and the BS, through what's real and what's really going on. Because any of us with eyes to see, and we can see that this pandemic is never ending, man. This is a never ending cycle, never ending process. They just be coming out with more. They're just gonna come out with more and more variants and more and more jabs and more and more scare tactics and fear porn programming and things like that. That's all they're doing. They're gonna basically string this along until they're ready to, and let this boil over more and more and more until they're ready for the chip to be implemented on the scene nationwide. Once that time comes, then they're still going to have some, C-19 programming within that as well. But it's going to be brought to its fullness of what they want to do. So they may just be out and open and all that, especially when it's mandatory and you can't buy or sell unless you have it. But we'll see. We'll see what goes on though. But just get into the article. Basically in this video, I'm going to be going into how they're cashing it versus the reality of the situation. So let's just get into it. It says, I'm going to go from right here. It says, according to CDC document published last year, the private corporation posing as a federal agency outlined plans to isolate unclean Americans in camps or community settings for a period of time no shorter than 6 months and up to forever to purge them of Tony Fauci and Peter Daszak's made in China C-19. It's just funny how these right-wing people, they're worded sometimes. But it says the CDC maintains that dirty people who are possibly teeming with said Chinese germs must be held in these concentration camps until sufficient hospitalization capacity is established, effective V or therapeutic options become widely available, or the C-19 epidemic affecting the population subsides. And I want to get that right there because, as we know, like I was just saying earlier, the C-19 pandemic is never going to subside, man. Like I said, they're just going to string this thing out along until they're ready for the chip to be implemented fully on the scene, which could be next year, the year after that. Who knows? But they're going to string this out along until that time has come. So there's going to be no until it resides or until jabs are widely available. The jabs are already widely available, man. They already came out and said every American is eligible to get it. So it ain't going to be we just going to have you in here until it's so. We're going to have you in here until you are comfortable getting it and things. Nah, man, it's going to be, they're going to cast people into prison. And when they do so, that's going to be the place where they apply heavy pressure on people to get people to bend the knee and to pin them into submission. Think about it. If the ultimate goal is world domination, totalitarian dictatorship, draconian measures being executed throughout the whole world, if that's their main goal, why would they have a place, a so-called, internment camp they're trying to cast through the CDC as some kind of health center where people are, going to be nursed back to health and things like that? Why would they have it be some kind of, you know, not joyful, but, resting type place, healing to health type place, kind of like a pseudo retirement home? Why would they have it be that if their goal is to get you to bow down to their image and take their chip, man? So that goes to show you that in order to get, because if you have a comfortable environment, then no one's going to do what you want them to do. If you got a comfortable environment, then ain't nobody going to bend the knee to you. The thing about it is that they got to create an uncomfortable environment so that they can get more people who are against them to submit to them. So it's going to be a very trying time and a very a trying moment, in that day, man. It's not going to be pretty. They're trying to cast it as some kind of, picnic or some kind of, rehabilitation center as opposed to a fucking prison, which is what it's going to be. And let's get a precept to go into that. The classic one that we always bring out is Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Because now let's go into this right here, because the scripture says it's going to be a prison-like scenario, man, and it's going to be much worse than even your most wicked or your most tried and true prisons out there, man. It's going to be extremely heinous in trying circumstances. It's going to be very afflicting, uncomfortable circumstances when that day comes. That's why it says, "Be thou faithful unto death," because there are going to be times where you might have to die. There's going to be times when you might have to be put in that chopping block on that guillotine to get your head chopped off. You may die of from other circumstances, whatever it may be. Like this, the point is that it's just showing you how bad it's going to be because death is on the option. If it was a true rehab center just to nurse you back to health, just to get you in a proper health status that you won't affect people around you, man, you can get the jab if you want. If not, it doesn't matter. We'll you can go back and see your family and whatnot. If it was that right there, why would the scripture say, "Be thou faithful unto death"? That's just going to show you that when the devil casts us, if that be our lot, if the devil casts us into those FEMA camps, death is on the option, which means travail is, in trying times, is 100% gonna happen, man. And that's gonna be the circumstance around these camps, or during these camps. But continuing on, it says, in the event that hospitals across the country become overwhelmed with sick patients, the CDC wants to load Americans into trains and have them hauled off to the nearest shielding facility to be cured. Like I said, this is not to cure people. This is not to get people back to health so they can go back and operate in society. This is to get people. This is to try people, to put them in a tough environment, an uncomfortable situation, and basically pin them and will them to give up, basically to give up on what they believe in and submit to them because the conditions are going to be so tough. That's what this is for. It's not to nurse you back to health as they're trying to cast it. Since the shielding approach aims to reduce the number of severe C-19 cases by limiting contact between individuals with higher risk of developing severe disease and general population, the document explains. So let's go into the document right here. I think I got it pulled up actually. Let's go into the document and see what the document says and examine it and just bring out some precepts. But before we do that, I'm going to get the book of James. Salakia. James, the first chapter. James 1:12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised them that love him. So it's going to be temptation, man, which means, well, you can't have temptation in an environment that's comfortable. You're not going to have no temptation in an environment where you're not, where you're not tried, where you're not put in conditions that can cause you to flip and turn left or right, or flip the script on what you believe. No, you have temptation. You have to endure through temptation in an environment where times are hard, in an environment where you think about the environment around you is so hellish, man. The environment around you is so uncomfortable to the point where you think in your mind, damn, am I better off just going, just bowing down and just doing what they tell me to do, or am I better off, staying true to my power, Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, and continuing on and keeping this faith and keeping this hope alive, man. So that's gonna be the environment. That's gonna because they want people to turn on what they believe in. They want people to. That's the ultimate sign that you got someone. It's that they were tried and true, believed in what they believed in. They had once had strong beliefs for what they thought to be right, and you got them to flip the script. You got them to change. That's a big ego boost, man. That's a big sign that you are the power that you want to claim that you are. And that's what these draconian measures are for. It's for world domination. It's for world subjection. They want you to worship them with every bone in your body. And one of the main ways they're going to do that is to get people to turn on the God that they believe in, to worship them as a God. And ultimately, their God is a God, being the Baphomet or Baal, Pan, the T God, whatever you want to call that entity. That's what they want for you. And casting people in the FEMA camp is one of the ways in which they're going to get people. They're going to get people to bow down. There's going to be people who came in there as strong believers of this faith, of this truth, and gonna bow the knee, man. And it's going, it's not going to endure. That it's going to be too rough for them, and they're going to just say fuck it and just go in that direction. That's what they want right there. So with that being said, let's go into the article and just break this down. So it's called the shielding approach. This is basically what the CDC is casting as, and this is what's coming, man. This was drafted last year. Well, this was put in the public last year, but we already know they got all this information, 20, 30 years down the line. But let's go into it right here. It says the shielding approach aims to reduce the number of severe C-19 cases by limiting contact between individuals at a higher risk of developing severe disease and the general population. High-risk individuals will be temporarily relocated to safe or quote-unquote green zones established at the household, neighborhood, or camp sector community level, depending on the context setting. They would have minimal contact with family members and other low-risk residents. So that's what they're trying to do right here. This basically trying to have it where they take you. They're trying to cast it that it's for public health and safety and protection. This has none at all to do with either one of those things, man. It's for complete, total purposes of just, getting you to bow down, getting you to worship them, getting you to fear them more than you fear your own power. Of course, our power being Yahweh. That's what it's for. So the quote unquote shielding and the quote unquote, because who are the people that are going to be quote unquote high risk? People who don't have the jab, people who don't want to take the chip, people who don't have the chip. People who, and of course you're going to have, your so-called truthers out there who are not going to take the jab and the chip. Of course, us, hopeful elect members of the nation of Israel, people who, just your health gurus out there who just don't want to put any alternative substances into their bodies, things of that nature. Like you're going to have people and for whatever rich reason, that you're going to be, seen as high risk for. In their mind is that you're a cancer to us. In their mind, you're a cancer, and you have potential to tarnish the people around you via giving them truth, tarnish them away from the New World Order and viewing them as the ultimate being and the ultimate power that they want people that they're trying to cast themselves and laud themselves as, in this society. So they want to remove you and get you away so that you don't taint the minds of the people and give them a true understanding and potentially wake up some sheep, because this truth and this word is getting out there rapidly and quickly. Let's go to Daniel, the 12th chapter real quick. Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, serve the words and seal the book, even to a time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So knowledge is being increased right now, man. Crazy, like all throughout the four corners of the earth, as Yahawah said, man, knowledge is being increased and the truth is reaching all four corners, man. The truth is reaching all, all ends of the earth right now. So they want to put a halt to that as quickly as they possibly can, because it's going out rapidly, which is why you see the devil coming down with great wrath, like the scriptures say, because he knows his time is short. He know that the ending of his time is the increase of knowledge and the increase of truth being around the four winds of the earth, affecting the minds of the people and people understanding and knowing what their true agendas and who they really are. So they gotta put it into that as quickly as they possibly can. And one of the main ways they're gonna do that is remove people from the scenes of society who they view and who they got on a list of that will tarnish the mentality and the control that they will have in the minds of the people, that can basically shift the programming that people, and the mind control that people are under, and wake them up out of their sleep, of course, through the Most High, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, doing that. That's what they don't want. They want to get rid of that altogether, which is why they're going to use the quote unquote shielding approach, and they're casting, because they can't come out and say that, they're casting it as, oh, we just want to remove people from affecting public health and safety, nurse them back to health with these isolated areas, and then they can go back and be with their families. Nah, man, it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. But let's get into the levels that we read of here earlier with the neighborhood, the camps, and the household. So this is table 1. It says level, household level. A specific room area designed for high-risk individuals who are physically isolated from other household members. And it says, let's go to level 2, the second level. The neighborhood level says it designates shelter/group of shelters, max 5 to 10 households within a small camp or area where high-risk members are grouped together. Neighborhood swap households to accommodate high-risk individuals. And then the third level is the camp level, where it says, going into, basically them using schools, buildings. This is the level right here where we talk about like the Walmart FEMA camps and all that. This is that level. This is the main one. This is where they're going to house majority of people who they view as really, really high risk. They're people who, have a deep understanding of what's really going on, and they have a list, and they got a list of people who are on that level, and you can be casting there. That's gonna be that's gonna be them prisons, man, where you have to try those 10 days. Of course, 10 being just a complete number, and they're gonna cast some of us to death, man. That's where this ultimately gonna be. So this time period is coming real quickly, man. But this is where the elect is going to be tried, man, because as the scriptures say, the Lord giveth us the furnace. He chose us. He's choosing us out of the furnace of affliction. Let's get that in Isaiah. I believe that's Isaiah 48. Yep, Isaiah 48:10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. And let's get another precept to go into that as well, one that I'll bring out, a lot, and all the brothers do, because it's so relevant to the times we'll be in. It's the second Ezra, the 16th chapter, and the 70th verse. We're gonna go into this and just go into some, world shit and all that too. This is second Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place, and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. And that's the thing right there. That's going to be the environment that's going to be going on in that time period. That's going to be the environment on the scene in that time period. It ain't going to be get on a bus and come with us. We'll take you to this place and nurse you to health. And basically how they're trying to cast that some pseudo retirement home. It ain't going to be none of that, man. They're going to be kick doors, doing a sweep on places, taking babies away from their families, taking children away, taking men away, women away, all that. I mean, everybody they view as a high risk, it's gonna be taken out and dragged out of their household, man. That's like the scripture. They're gonna be like madman, sparing none. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter, what you are. It don't matter, what you believe in. If you don't bow down, if you're not openly willing to worship them and their image and take their mark, then they view you as undesirable. They view you as somebody who's better off as dead or in jail, or in a camp, aka a prison. That's how they view you, man, because they can't control you. Because think about it, they want the population down to 500 million, right? That's for control purposes. When you have a lesser population of people, you have more effect. You have it's easier to harness and control the minds of those people. It's easier to program the minds of those people. When you have more people, that's way more people that are gonna that you can't harness into your web. You can't trap into your web. You can't trap under your snares and whatnot. So those people they view, you got to get rid of those people. Like I said earlier, us as hopeful elect, the nation of Israel, Lord will. Your so-called truthers, your Christians out there who have some understanding of what's going on, your general health people who just are not willing to put foreign substances in their bodies that they don't know. Your herbalists, your just anti-system people, your anarchist people who are just anti-government and anti-big government and mass control of government. Your right-wing Republicans who think that the left is causing all this, that, and the third. It's gonna be everybody who's not willing to bow the knee to them. They view as undesirable, and like I said, they view better off as dead or in prison because your mindset is too tarnishing to the control they're trying to implement and the mass mind control they're trying to implement within and work and actively working in the mind within the people of the world, the masses of people. But like I said, they're not going to be sparing nobody in that day. So they're going to be coming in. They're going to be coming in hot, man. It ain't going to be no just guide you out, like, open the door, come with me, guide you out. No, they're going to be kicking doors down and dragging people out their house, man. That's what it's going to be in that day. So you got to filter the bullshit of what the CDC is telling you from what's actually going to be going on in society. Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Just drag people out of their houses, man, unwillingly. Verse 73, then shall it be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. So they'll be tried as gold in the fire. Gold is tried in tough conditions, man, to see if that gold is pure. If we want to be that pure gold, some of us gonna have to be tried in those FEMA camps, man. Like I was saying earlier, that goes to show you, when you read these articles or whatnot, you got to go to what the source is telling you. The source is these scriptures. Ultimately, the source is the Most High, but His word is in these scriptures. That's the source, not the CDC, not Newsweek or any of these media platforms. The source are the scriptures. Even if they tell you that it's not going to be as bad as what, like I'm saying in this video and other brothers be saying as well, we know our information is based off of the scriptures. So we understand via the scriptures that it's going to be very trying times. They're telling you that it's just for humanitarian reasons and to get people to be healthy and safe and just nurse people back to health so that you can so that they can be with their families once more and all that. Nah, man, it's not going to be that at all. It's not get people to health and let them go back and live their life. No, it's detain people until they bend the knee to me and my image. That's what it is. And you're gonna have some people who ain't gonna be able to take it, man, and who gonna bow the knee and they ain't gonna be released. You got some people that's gonna be tried to death and gonna have to die, man, because for what we believe in and whatnot. So you gotta have a wide variety of different scenarios going on, but the point I'm trying to say is it ain't gonna be pretty either way. It's like I said earlier, in order to get people to bend the knee to them, in order to get people to bow down to their will, in order to get people to cast off what they strongly believe in for them, you got to create an environment that's uncomfortable. You got to create an environment that makes you think that is what you believe in really worth it. That's what you got to create. So these detainment, these C-19 internment camps, they're not gonna be it ain't gonna be no Rosemont retirement home, man. It ain't gonna be none of that, man. It ain't gonna be no Hollywood Hills, Pearly Gates rehabilitation center, man, like they're trying to cast it off to be. It's gonna be a tough, slanderous, travailing type of environment. Especially in this third level right here, these camps, man. These camps, that's gonna be your Walmarts, your warehouses, your Costco's or places like that are just big warehouses that they're actively right now turning into future detainment centers, man. That's what that's gonna be, and that's gonna be a tough environment to get through, but it's ultimately how we have to be tried, and see if we're that gold, for the Most High and all that. That's crazy. I just spoke about Walmart, and I get this ad right here that talks about Walmart. It's funny, I used to work at Walmart too, but that's an aside. Just back into the lesson. Just going back into that Isaiah Actually, continuing on to this right here, it's a verse 73. Then shall it be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. And I just want to show that they be listening in, man, because as soon as I mentioned Walmart, this ad popped up. They listening in, and they got a list of people, man, who they got on their radar, who they got. You know, every device that we use has RFID technology in it. Like RFID just means radio frequency identification. That's all that means. Most of the devices we use have RFID technology. It's in wallets, it's in clothes, it's in underwear, it's in computers, it's in phones, it's in TVs, it's in remotes. You know, it's in a lot of devices that we use. It's in cars. They put it in animals. It's in a lot of devices that we use in our everyday life. But the mark of the beast is different. The mark of the beast, the MOB, that's putting it in your body, man. That's a totally different level. That you're basically, when you do that, you have marked yourself as a test subject for Esau Edom. So it's an entirely different level. But that shows you through radio frequency identification. It shows you that they have a tab on people, man. Like I said, it's not ironic that I was talking about Walmart and this ad popped up on my phone when I'm on the scripture on the Bible app, man. It's not a coincidence. They got a tab on everybody, man. So when they come and take people out of their household, they come to specific people that they know have not been the need to them. They know are not going along with their plans and whatnot. They want to remove you because your voice can inspire people to view them for who they are and to get out of mind control programming. Of course, the Most High wants that to happen. So, but continuing on. Verse 74, it says, Hear, O ye beloved, my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same days of trouble. So like I said, when you read these articles or whatnot, you know, you got to filter in what that says via the scriptures. They're not casting as a time of trouble. They're not casting as, you know, it's like a neighborhood watch, the way they're trying to cast it as. You know, take certain people who are certain high risk, remove them from the low risk people, and have them kind of a little bit more isolated, so you know they can get monitored and nursed back to health, and they can return back, you know, once they're low risk again. Nah, man, it's gonna be complete trouble, man. The high risk people, like I said, are gonna be the people that, for some way, shape, or form, are not interested in taking any devices that this man is coming out with, man. So the FEMA camps and detainment centers are centers to get you to bend to their will, like the people of the world, the quote unquote low risk people. The quote unquote low risk people are people who are willingly going to take the jab, people who willingly have taken the jab, people who are willingly going to take the chip. That's going to be the quote unquote low risk people. And to get from high risk to low risk, you got to go from strong against to strongly for. And ultimately, they're going to use that FEMA camp as a way to try you, to see if you really tried in truth what you believe in, or you're willing to bend the knee to them and bow down to them, and ultimately worship their God through taking their image being that chip, or the jab and the chip, either one. But the jab is not the chip as well. The jab is not the mark of the beast, though. So that's what it's going to be. It's a time of trouble, man. And going back to that Isaiah 48 real quick. Isaiah 48:10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. So that furnace of affliction, one of the furnaces of affliction is going to be those FEMA camps, man. You know, and that's when the Most High is going to try to see if we're that pure gold, man. You know, pursuing the Zechariah, the 13th chapter, in the 8th and 9th verse, that goes into 1/3 and the 2/3, man. He'll bring the third part through the fire, man. That those trying times, those trying measures, and the FEMA camps is going to be an avenue the Most High uses to try His elect. But let's get Daniel, the 3rd chapter. This is Daniel 3 and 5. That is going into Nebuchadnezzar in ancient Babylon. Daniel 3 and 5. That at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall be the same hour, shall the same hour cast them into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And of course, this goes into the three holy children. I can't remember the Hebrew names off the top of my head, but Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You know how they were cast to the fiery furnace for not bowing down, not bending the knee and bowing down, and worshiping the golden image of Nebuchadnezzar. Man, it's gonna be this. It's the same thing in this time period, man. That furnace of affliction. It's those FEMA camps, and going to this example being the FEMA camps. That's like the fiery furnace back in ancient Babylon, man. It's the same thing, but the Most High is gonna be with us just like He was with the three holy children. The Most High is gonna like the scriptures say, there were four men that were in there. One was likened to the Son of Man, that being Yahawashi was with them in the fiery furnace, protecting them, man. Now I'm not saying we're gonna be actually have to go into a fiery furnace. That's not gonna happen. But in the FEMA camps, it's gonna be conditions like that, man. It's gonna be trying conditions. It's gonna be times where we may not be able to eat for a couple of days, where they're trying to serve us swine and we got to cast it off. I mean, because they know they got tabs on people, man. They know what people stand in their beliefs and all that. They got a file for everybody, man. So they know they're gonna try you via things that they know that you stand for. But you can't bow down. You can't go into that way, man. You gotta go through it. You gotta go through that straight gate, that difficult gate, and be tried, man. That's how the Most High is molding and seeing who's really of His elect and who's not. But I'm gonna go down to verse 11. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And the hopeful elect in this day are like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man, who are not going, worship the image, aka take the chip, and they're gonna have to be cast into those FEMA camps because of it, man. And like I said, it's gonna be trying times. Not gonna be the public health and safety. That's just a placeholder. That's just a filler. That's not what actually is for. It's for total, complete control and domination, and for their draconian measures being implemented into the whole world. The New World Order program and the dictatorship being implemented into the whole world. It's not to keep the society, from getting sick. That's some bullshit, man. That's just a covering for what's really, the plan behind the scenes. And the elect, like, it's gonna be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and not gonna bow the knee, not gonna worship that image via taking that chip. Gonna have to be casting those FEMA camps because of it. But it's how the Most High is with them. The Most High is gonna be with us as well in that furnace of affliction. So these are the times that we headed into, man. It's about to get real hectic out here, about to get real crazy. But keep the faith high, the Most High got us. So I just want to give all praise and glory and honor unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, Lord, what is lessons edifying for the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, the nation of Israel only. Abba, Kwam, Yasharala, Shalom, keep the faith.